Good morning. Hello, my name's Elaine, Carney, and I'm the community agent for West Mendip. Apologies for the slight delay in transmission, but with typical good timing, the Amazon man decided to come bang on 11 o'clock. So today I'm here to talk a little bit about pets. And as you can hear, I've got some pets of my own. So this is one of my pets. This is Etty, one of my pugs, and then I have my older pug next to me, Olive, who's 10. So, as I said, I work for the Community Council for Somerset as community agent for West Mendip. And I'm just here to talk to you today a little bit about pets during lockdown, about the benefits of pets, although at the moment they're not very clear, and just generally about ownership, and then in return, things that we can do for pets, and just talk a little bit about organisations that can help. I have noticed, obviously, in recent months, with the impact of lockdown, then pets have featured quite highly with some of the clients that we've been working with. Obviously, people have benefited if they're shielding from having the company of a much-loved pet or animal. But of course, there have been concerns if they're shielding about possibly obtaining food for supplies for their pets, or problems with finances, again caused by the impact of COVID. Where that is really coming to its own is many of the community groups have been offering dog walking services. I've had clients that have been very concerned about their dogs being walked, and they have really stepped in to help provide that service to people, which has been excellent. So there's been volunteers in all across Mendip with the COVID groups offering dog walking services in Wells Street, Glastonbury, Shepton Mallet, Frome, all across Mendip. And also for people that have been receiving maybe food boxes or government food parcels, or perhaps receiving food parcels from Mendip, of course, they were often finding that's not including the pet food that they might need. So, as I said, the community group's been excellent at doing those little bits of shopping, perhaps for people's pets. And also CCS, in conjunction with Skinner's Pet Foods, they very kindly donated some bags of dog food, which were then distributed to members of the community by some of our agents. And you can find more about this and the work of CCS on their website. So it might be worth having a look at that. It's actually on their news dated the 4th of June. And it goes into a lot more detail about the work of CCS and about their collaboration with us to distribute dog food during the COVID crisis. Apologies for the barking pug. Still not getting over the Amazon delivery. And if you also look on there, there's some really heartwarming stories of how this food has helped people that were either in lockdown or, you know, could not obtain the food because of financial difficulties. So well done to Skinner's for that. And you can actually take a look, as I said, at www.spillersfood.co.uk. And I think that that's also coming up in the comments now as well. You can see the pug. I will show you. This is my elderly pug, Olive, who I will talk a little bit more about in a moment. She is 10. It was her 10th birthday yesterday. And she wore her party hat. She had some red beads, and we had a special tea. It would normally be spaghetti bolognese, but yesterday we had sausages. So Olive has reached double figures yesterday. So there she is. She's a bit like a seal pup. And then my other pug is the one that's barking at the Amazon man still. And this is Etty. And Etty, I will tell you the story about Etty later. She is actually a rescue pug from a local charity in Mendip. So I was very, very lucky to get Etty because there was a lot of competition. But I think they could tell that I was definitely an obsessed pug lady or a crazy pug lady. So this is Etty, and she came from Happy Landing. So I will talk more about her later. So I'm just going to talk a little bit now about the benefits of owning a pet, although I'm finding it hard to see some at the moment, especially as I'm now covered in pug litter, which is my term for dog hair. So my whole house is covered in pug litter. My car is covered in pug litter. basically, there's pug glitter everywhere. But as I said, that's just really just a minor negative, of course, because of all the benefits that you can get from owning pets. I personally, probably like everybody else, I've owned pets throughout my life. The pugs are obviously my obsession, but we do also have chinchillas, chickens, guinea pigs, fish, and then over the years, you name it, we've had it. So hamsters, rabbits, you know, we've always had a house for pets. And I think, as particularly with pets, especially, as I said, during the time of COVID and just with difficult times, I think you can find they can be your best friends, they can motivate you, they can almost be your confidants, and I think they improve just generally your health and your well-being. As I said, my thing really is pugs. This all started, I'd say, when I was about 7, which is a long time ago now, and it was Ethel in EastEnders and her pug, Little Willie, and I was obsessed. And that carried on throughout my life, and I collected ornaments, money boxes, clothing, earrings, everything you could think that was pug related. And then as I was approaching 40, I finally got a pug, and that was my first pug, Olive, who you saw just now. And as I said, she is now, as I said, fast approaching, well, as I said, she was 10 yesterday. Etty, my other pug, is 3, and as I said, she is a rescue pug. I do apologise for the barking. Etty, stop. Come here. Do you want a treat? Come on. Come here. Right, I think I will let her out of the room. Apologies, Etty is now banished. Okay, so the benefits of owning a pet. First thing is, millions of people, I think, see their pets as a lifeline, and it's estimated that in the UK, about 44% of the population have some sort of pet. So that's around 51 million pets owned, which is quite an incredible figure. So one positive effect of owning a pet is the impact on your health and fitness. Pets, particularly dogs, of course, improve your fitness. A daily walk obviously gets your blood pumping around the body, obviously gives you exercise, and as I said, the benefits of that are obviously huge. But of course, equally, playing with your cat and dog inside or out in the garden is still getting your blood pumping around your body. Even, you know, just they might enjoy sitting around, as I know my pugs do, but of course, it's getting your blood pumping, and it's a real huge benefit of owning a pet. Horse riding also, of course, provides plenty of exercise and is often used as therapy or for rehab or for the disabled. And research has shown that just merely stroking a pet, so that could be a dog, a cat, a chinchilla, a hamster, maybe even a tarantula, then it can actually lower your blood pressure, reducing the chance of strokes or heart attacks. Even it's been proved watching fish in an aquarium, which a lot of people enjoy, can help reduce muscle tension and lower your pulse rate. And studies have also shown that children that grow up around pets have been shown to be at less risk of actually developing allergies. Of course, there's also dogs that are even trained to sniff out life-threatening diseases, such as cancer. And pets are definitely, I would say, a good medicine. And it's actually been found out that in people over 65, they actually make 30% fewer visits to the doctor. So that's pet owners, 30% fewer visits to the doctor than those people without pets. So that's an interesting fact. Another thing to talk about is well-being. Another aspect of well-being is that pets can definitely reduce stress in many ways. So walking your dog outdoors can help improve your mental well-being. But likewise, snuggles with your cat or your hamster or your dog or your rabbit can also reduce stress and lift your mood by releasing the happy chemical or happy hormone or endorphins in your brain. It's also worth mentioning here, of course, the fantastic pet charities such as Pets as Therapy, and they use pets such as cats and dogs, ponies, donkeys, you name it, as therapy in care homes, hospices, and even in hospitals. And that, of course, provides some therapeutic stimulation and comfort for patients or residents. I even saw the other day on Facebook, actually, a care home that had a visit from a group of penguins. I'm sorry, I don't know the right term for a group of penguins, but they actually had some penguins come to visit them, which was adorable. Another really interesting scheme I've seen that Pets as Therapy offer is something called Read to Dogs. Now, I used to be a teacher, and this would have been a brilliant scheme if we'd been able to get it into school then, which is where children quite often find it difficult to read aloud. They're usually self-conscious, and if they struggle, they just generally might find it difficult and just lack the confidence to do it. So the scheme that they run is just brilliant, because they bring in a dog to school, and then the dog listens to the child read. And they did find through the research that came out of it that those children in a 6-week program of doing this increased their reading age by about 6 months. And the dog is basically non-judgmental. It sits on their lap and then just listens to the child read. Obviously, the teacher keeps an eye on this session. And then if the dog closes their eyes or starts to snore, they've got a lovely way that they tell them that it's because the dog is listening extremely carefully to the story. And if the dog gets excited, they say, oh, it's because you're reading so brilliantly. And at the end, the reward that the children get, or the child gets, is to stroke the dog. So again, it's shown to have great results, and that the children that take part make huge progress in a short time. And the Kennel Club also run a similar scheme, which is called Bark and Read, which is very, very similar. So I just need to cough. And of course, then you've got the more specialised services, such as guide dogs for the blind and hearing dogs for the deaf. So again, they're worth a little mention. I won't talk too much about those today, because I said that's more specialised. But that's guidedogs.org.uk and hearingdogs.org.uk. I think another big, huge thing, or a huge aspect of owning a pet, especially again a dog, slightly dog biased, is that pets, they just don't judge us. They cheer us up, they comfort us, they don't argue with us. They make you feel better when you're perhaps feeling a bit down or you're unwell, and they possibly don't ever leave your side. A bit like my 2 pugs, as you have seen. I cannot go anywhere. They follow me to the shower, they follow me to the loo, they follow me literally everywhere. When I'm working from home, as I have been at the moment, they sit by my side sometimes for 6-7 hours at a time, and they do not move. So they are just always by your side. A huge benefit as well that I found, and I'm sure obviously any dog owner especially would find as well, is they do offer huge social benefits. I just think whenever I go out with the pugs, you can guarantee I will speak to people. I've met countless new friends through talking to people and meeting people when I've been out walking my pugs. And then I will go out sometimes and think, why has nobody spoke to me today? And then I realise it's because I haven't got the pugs with me. And of course, it's just that icebreaker. So going out with a dog, it can be a very social thing. Obviously, people meet up in parks. And so when you go for a walk, there's no doubt, obviously it's at the moment has to be socially distanced, but you do get that opportunity to speak to somebody. You've got something in common in the fact that you've got a dog with you, and you could just chat about the dogs. And so it's a real icebreaker and a really good way of meeting new people and chatting to them. And then, of course, depending on what breed you've got various different groups. I mean, I belong to a huge amount of pug groups, both on Facebook, and of course they quite often organise events. So in the last few years, I've been to Pug Picnic at Ashton Court. I've been to Weymouth for Pugs on the Beach. I've been to Lyme Regis for another Pugs on the Beach event. I've been to a pug festival in Bristol. I've even been to a pug cafe in Park Street at the top of the hill in Park Street in Bristol. And there were pug treats, etc., and things like that. So through that, I've met so many people, and then of course we maintain that friendship through social media, so through going on Facebook or Instagram and just the various groups you can join. And of course they do also hold them for other breeds as well, lots of these events. So again, that's a very good way of meeting people. So again, just as that social aspect. And I've even got people in America, fans of Olive, that have seen your picture online, and you can just chat and talk about the bugs and talk about what's been going on with their lives at the moment. So as I said, that's a really good way of meeting up with communities and clubs and groups that are devoted to your particular breed, or even your particular pet, of course, because there's ones for guinea pigs and rabbits, and it's just a very good social aspect. Another big aspect, of course, pets is that they help prevent loneliness, and of course this has been especially important during lockdown in the last few months. And so for some people, their pet might be their only companion, or so they can literally transform the life of people that are feeling alone or isolated. And owning a pet can actually give people that sense of purpose and the reason to get up in the morning, because obviously, if you've got to look after pets, where some people might be feeling a little bit anxious or depressed. If you know that you've got to care for a pet, then that sort of gives you that motivation to get up and get going in the morning. Because they've got to be fed, they've got to go for their walk, they've got to have to go outside to go to the toilet, whatever they might need to do. And then another big thing I think is learning. I think you can learn a lot from pets. I think they're quite good role models, and they don't ask for much. And obviously they teach us a lot about unconditional love, which obviously definitely does come from your pets, and friendship. And I think they can teach people of all ages about the skills of responsibility and kindness. Looking after a pet is a big commitment. It's not something you go into lightly. That pet might live for a long time. You have to care for it for a long time. You're going to need to provide it with things it needs, obviously, to have the best life it can. So for people thinking about having a pet, obviously the ideal thing is to get one that's sort of suitable to where you live and your surroundings. Are you in a flat? Are you mobile? Can you access open spaces? Do you not have much space? So you need to, obviously, that are all things that you need to consider when you're thinking about getting a pet. There's some brilliant information about all pets that you can print or download or have a look at online. I would say that probably the ones that I think are the most useful are the RSPCA and the Blue Cross website, and I think you've got the link that's come up in the feed. They're excellent. As I said, they've almost got, one of them has a kind of toolkit that you can then put in lots of different things about yourself, and then it sort of tells you the pet that would be possibly most suitable to your circumstances. So obviously that's a good little tool on there. And then you've got various downloadable leaflets on gerbils, hamsters, guinea pigs, whatever it might be that you're interested in getting. And then going on to that, once you're thinking of the pet that you would like, it might be worth, as I said, if rather than buying one from a breeder or from a pet shop, of course, there are a lot of unwanted animals, pets, of all shapes and sizes, dogs, cats, as I said, smaller animals. And there are actually a couple in Mendip. I mean, Etty, who's now gone quiet, who's my little pug behind me. Etty, come here. I don't know if you can see her. I think she's out of shot. Come here, my lovely. So Etty here, I was very, very lucky to get Etty. She's absolutely adorable when she's not barking. But Etty, actually, a friend of mine, knowing what a crazy pug load I am, told me about Etty. And she was in Happy Landings at Peel. And I said, oh, it won't be a pug. And she said, oh, no, it's definitely a pug. And so I instantly applied for her. As I said, it was a very, very thorough process. Lots and lots of people. I think they had about 45 applicants. It was a bit like being on the X Factor. We were in the final 5, and then we were in the final 3, then the final 2. And so then as it sort of gradually, as the process went on, we went on some visits up to Happy Landings, and they did a home visit to just come and check, and I think they could see that she would get a very good home. And as I said, lots and lots of visits, and then she had some day visits when she came home for me for the day. And then I think the whole process took a couple months, but it was very thorough, obviously as it needs to be, because she had already sort of had quite a bad back. She was only 9 months old when I adopted her. Olive is, Kizzy just asked me, where's Olive? I just showed there's Olive. Olive will wave. Olive! Olive was 10 yesterday. There she is. So as I said, and so I would say Happy Landings, so that's based in Pill. And they offer not just dogs, but they offer dogs, cats, domestic and farm animals for rehoming. It's really worth taking a look at their website to see what the latest animals that they have that they're looking for adoption. And then you can inquire on an online form. Apologies, just seen somebody out the window. So, as I said, they regularly update their website, and you can have a good look at the dog. It describes the kind of home that they're looking for, or the cat, or whatever it might be, whether they're good with children, whether they're good with other dogs. So that's happylandings.org.uk. And I've actually most recently found another one in the Freem area, quite by accident, but it does look fantastic. It's called Corn Pop Critter Rescue. They've got a Facebook page. I can't find a website for them, but they've got a huge amount of small animals, so guinea pigs and rabbits and all sorts. So if you have to take a look at their Facebook page, then you will find a little bit more information about them now. If you were looking for a cat to possibly rehome, then the Cats Protection League, Glastonbury and Wales, does actually cover a huge part of Mendip. So it doesn't just cover those areas, it just cover Evercreech, Shepton and further up as well. And they are always looking for people that can possibly rehome cats or adopt them. For more details, you can have a look at their website, which is cats.org.uk. And the contact for this area is Jill on 01749 850 660. So, and then also on a cat theme, available in East Mendip, which one of my fellow agents, Nick, told me about, is a charity that serves the Freem area that rescues, fosters and rehomes kittens and adult cats. They also offer vouchers for neutering stray cats, and their contact is Ginny on 07504 129955, or the website for that is www.catsindistress.org. So that's another option. Sorry, I have to keep having to turn aside because I'm trying to keep my pug quiet. So just a little bit about now. Obviously, most people are not going to need too much elaboration on it, but for what a pet gives to us, then they just ask for some basic needs in return. So obviously, I'm just going to skip through and just point out a few things they need. So they obviously need a good, safe environment. So obviously that's going to depend on what the pet is, but they obviously need a garden, if preferably, or a space that they can exercise and go out to live. If it's a smaller animal, need to make sure that they've got big enough cage or big enough pen, that they're cleaned out regularly, which is something I most often end up doing with our 5 chinchillas that we have. Secure fencing, obviously bedding, water, and just making sure that they've got, a safe environment. This time of year, obviously, it's particularly important to remember the importance of not leaving dogs in cars for any length of time. I mean, the dangers of that are just immense. So just not to ever leave a dog in a car. I mean, pugs especially, obviously, because of their flat faces and their problems that they can have with heat. It's just a complete no-go. And also even walking dogs, if it's very sunny and warm, avoiding midday or early afternoon, worst possible time. And I actually did see last night on one of my pug groups online, it was in America, but there was a pug on there that was suffering from heat stroke and had actually, I've just seen this morning, it's actually passed away overnight. So it really is just not a thing to be doing for any length of time, of course. And if you do see a dog in a car, then obviously you need to call the police. But, you know, if you see them in a car park and they're struggling, that needs to be dealt with straight away. The other thing is obviously they need us to have a suitable diet. I am laughing at that because Olive the pug had sausage last night because it was her birthday. I actually built my tea, as I said previously, around what I thought Olive would like for her birthday. But obviously suitable diet and the correct feeding and trying not to let them get overweight or obese. So not too many tidbits. And just worth mentioning now, actually, because it's an incident I had about 2 or 3 years ago now with Olive, it's just been aware that certain foods are very dangerous to dogs. And I know that one night, about 2 or 3 years ago, my chinchillas love those little boxes of raisins that you get for school lunch boxes, those type of things. And unbeknownst to me, Olive had managed to find a packet and chewed them up. It was 9 o'clock on a Saturday evening. Thank goodness my vet is absolutely fantastic. I think they said you need to come straight away. And she had to have something to make her sick. And she was very sick for about half an hour because just a few raisins can actually cause irreversible kidney damage. They did say you need to get her here within half an hour, otherwise that could be the end of Olive. So luckily she was fine. Everything came up very quickly. So, but again, it's just something to be aware of. And obviously things like onions, chocolate, they can actually be quite dangerous to pets. The other thing, of course, they obviously need to learn to have normal and healthy behaviour. So that could be making sure that they're handled a lot, you know, so that they become tame and they behave in the appropriate way. It could be dog training, if you've got a dog. So not to be leaving animals, especially, as I said, dogs, especially for long periods, because, and I think after lockdown, there's been a lot of talk about the fact that a lot of, especially dogs, are going to be incredibly stressed when their owners start returning to work. So that's just something else that's worth a mention. And also they need to be protected from pain, suffering and disease. Of course, we all see some horrendous examples of animal cruelty, but also, of course, making sure that they're taken to the vet if you have any issues. Pet insurance is obviously a good idea. Because I've had a few experience with particularly the older pug, Olive, with the cost of vet bills. They can be massive. I mean, just this Saturday, with typically good timing, she had a swollen pool, and just that trip to the vets was £75. She did have an infected, and you know, luckily it was close to payday. So, but as I said, if you can afford insurance, it really is a good idea. And even some with basic cover can really give you some good protection for that. And obviously some vets now do offer the option to pay monthly until a bill is cleared. But I think that getting insurance, if you can, as I said, would be brilliant. So I found one recently called boughtmany.com. It comes highly recommended. I have talked to a friend who's actually breeds dogs as well about it, and she has that. And their cat insurance starts at only around £4 a month. And their dog is about £8. Insurance starts from about £7.93 to be exact a month. I'm actually going to take a look at them to get a new quote for Olive, because obviously now with her age, her pet insurance has suddenly rocketed. And I know that a few years ago, she had to spend 1 day at Langford. She had an aspiration pneumonia, or she'd eaten her food too quickly. And just that alone was £1,400, which luckily I had the insurance and they paid out. So that was, you know, covered that expense. So it is definitely worth having a look at insurance. And also very important to, if there's a risk, to neuter your pet and to microchip it. And I know many charities offer this service for free. So the PDSA, the Blue Cross and the Dogs Trust charities Can also help with vet costs for anybody on a very low income or low incomes. The PDSA, they can check, and you can check this online, if you're eligible for reduced cost or even free veterinary treatment. The nearest one in Somerset, there's not one in Mendip, but is in Taunton. And I actually do know a lady, a client that benefited hugely from this when she had some issues with her elderly dog, and they were fantastic. So that's the bluecross.org.uk, the pdsa.org.uk, and the dogstrust.org.uk. And just to wrap things up now, is that it's finally just worth mentioning a few other charities that offer a really valuable service in Mendip. The Cinnamon Trust is a great charity. It was started by a lady. It was named after her corgi that passed away aged 17. And they can take away a lot of the anxiety about pets if people become poorly, or even if the worst happens. So they really respect that relationship between people and their pets. And they work out to get over any difficulties that might be coming up. They've got a network of over 17,000 volunteers, and they offer practical support when an owner might be struggling. That could be something like walking their dog. That might be somebody maybe that's shielding. It could be somebody that's aquaphobic and, finds it struggles to go out of the house. I have used them before for clients. They also will offer a fostering service if somebody's going to hospital. And I do have another client whose cat is actually going to be looked after by them in the near future. And they provide long-term care for pets whose owners who are moving into accommodation where they cannot maybe take their pets. That might be a care home, and then what they will do is they will actually, if the person wishes to, they will keep them in contact with their pet whilst they sort of look after them for the future, and they will send them letters and updates. So it's a lovely, lovely idea. And then, of course, they will also look after those pets if the person passes away. So if the owner passes away, at least gives the peace of mind, not very pleasant, but it gives the peace of mind that their pet will be happy and safe in the future, because they will keep them for the rest of their lives, the pet. And that can all be arranged in advance to anybody that's interested in that. So that's the Cinnamon Trust, and I think you've got the details, as I said, coming up in the comments. And then again, no, I think I need to block my pug's ears now. But in the event of a pet passing away, then the Blue Cross also offer a brilliant service, which is a confidential support service. Really struggling with the death of a pet, and that's 8:30 till 8:30, and that's every day of the year that's available. So it's a Blue Cross Pet Bereavement Support, and their number is 0800 096 6606. I hope I haven't said too many sixes. Or if you can get more information about that service on the Blue Cross website. So that's bluecross.org.uk. And then finally, just another worth mentioning, not thinking just about pets, but obviously wild animals. And I'm talking about this because of a recent experience again with a client, is that Secret World, based down near Highbridge, or on the way to Highbridge, Burnham, I can't remember the name of the place, sorry, apologies for that. But that's Secret World, they can offer great support if you were to find an injured wild animal, so birds or hedgehogs or badgers and things like that. We're not talking about those, I know, but today, but I just thought it was worth mentioning them because they were very helpful recently, and they will give advice, and they will also come out if you were to find an injured animal, then they will come out and they will, as I said, collect it for you, and they will treat it for you. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed the end of my first Talking Cafe. I'm just reaching the end now. So thanks for the comments. Hopefully that's been of use to you. I'll just get my pugs to say goodbye. So first of all, we'll say goodbye from Olive. And she's given a special snort. Apologies for the barking. And then goodbye from Atty, who's the barky one. So there we go. Bye-bye.
the